Hello and welcome back to another episode. Now today I really want to talk about Usborne Puzzle Adventure books. Now these are brilliant, and this is actually my all-time favourite. This is my first. I got this one from Warwick Castle many years ago, probably when I was about 11. And it's brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant, and this one in particular is absolutely brilliant. The Usborne Puzzle Adventure books, they are stories. At the end of every 2-page spread, you're sort of told, don't turn the page yet. So for example, I don't know, one of them, don't turn the page yet. Ivor strained his eyes and just managed to read the notice propped up on the tea trolley. We've magnified it so you can read it. Which cakes can Ivor eat safely? And that's kind of the substance of the book. Is basically you're asked to solve puzzles, and you can't. The adventure doesn't continue until you have solved the puzzle. If you really want to, you can sort of go to the back, and the answers are there. And there are sort of clues just before that written in mirror text. If you really want to sort of, if you're getting really stuck. But basically, they're just really charming adventures. And the reason why Escape from Blood Castle got me hooked on these is actually because I love castles, and obviously I bought this in a castle, and I love the idea of going on an adventure in one. And I mean, who wouldn't be intrigued by the opening pages here, where Intrepid Ivor and the Evil Baron, it says, and it's sort of outlining the castle. It's got all these interesting things: sharp spikes, the crumbling wall, ended of a knotted sheet sticking out the window, a tin crow, a lookout tower, and you've got to try and figure out how to get into that particular castle. And I won't show you how to get in. Don't want to spoil the fun for you, obviously. But you're in straight away. It was an intriguing puzzle, and then next thing you know, you're in the castle, and then you've got to make your way through without essentially being killed. And basically, you're trying to figure out who owns the castle, because the old owner has died, and the person who the will, essentially, as to who owns the castle and who has the right to live there, has been possibly replaced. It's a slightly complicated story, but essentially you might own the castle. So that's the reason why I love this one. Is I've always wanted to own a castle, and it's just a brilliant story. Actually, one of my favourite puzzles in this whole book is where Ivor finds himself captured, and he's on a sort of a rack where his cousin, I think, rather nasty cousin, is going to stretch him until he comes apart, presumably, and you've got to try and figure out how to get away. And there's all these different elements. There's a chandelier that's burning a rope, there's balls that sort of go down a tube that will turn the cogs, and by figuring out which way the cogs turn and which way the rope will be pulled, you can sort of see the sequence of events that will unfold. So this one says, don't turn the page yet, look at the picture and try to work out what happened next. Who is the hooded torturer? Don't look at the answer yet. Turn to the next page first. If you're still stuck, then look up the answer. But that one I really like, because it's so intricate. It kind of reminded me of the board game Mousetrap, you know, where you can see all these things happening one after the other, and in this instance there's a picture that you have to figure out what the sequence of events is. I loved it, absolutely loved it. Now, if it sounds a bit childish, it is a little bit childish. I mean, some of the puzzles are a little bit easy, but in that sense, the art style and the way that the puzzles are presented to you is so charming. I defy you at any age not to love a book like this. That said, though, there are more advanced versions. So, for example, the Deck Chair Detectives here. This one is an Usborne Whodunit. And that's a little bit more sinister. The puzzles are a little bit more difficult, and it's kind of like in film noir style. So you've got to really keep an eye out for the evidence, and it's got a bit of a film noir twist at the end as well. So there are more sort of adult, or I suppose upper teenage kind of versions, more advanced as it were. And then beyond that, here are the advanced puzzle adventures, so even more advanced, even more difficult, as it were. So you start off with one of these, and then you advance through the different puzzle book types. They're brilliant. I highly recommend them. I haven't got as many as I'd like. Danger at Demon's Cove is very good, just there. The Solve Your Own Mystery Stories sort of compilation is quite good. It's got actually Escape from Blood Castle, along with what are the other two? I do know them, but Curse of the Lost Idol and Murder on the Midnight Plain. So the Lost Idol is just there, and then the Midnight Plain is just here. And they all have brilliant puzzles, the stories are all well told, the illustrations are all very charismatic, and essentially you'll be hooked. It's a brilliant way to pass time. It's kind of like, I mean, because obviously I grew up with computer games. I know the pull of computer games, and especially when I was reading this, I was completely addicted to my Mega Drive, if not just about to be addicted to my N64. So I knew, and I do still know, that pleasure. But these were kind of like portable computer games, but also, frankly, you use a bit more imagination. So even though I had a Game Boy, I always loved these as well. So even if you have a DS today, give it a go, give them a go. They're not that expensive on for example, Amazon, or if you go to a bookshop in the second-hand section. They're there, they're well worth a read, and you'll love them. Just don't draw in them. There are people out there who really piss me off by getting a biro and drawing the answer, you know, drawing the way through, for example, the castle here, you know, drawing how to get through, how they solved that particular puzzle. Don't do that. Just, if you must, make notes on another piece of paper so other people can enjoy the story, or frankly, so you can, because some of these puzzles I've forgotten the answers to, so I can go back and I can reread them and I can re-enjoy them. It's brilliant. I absolutely love them. So if you've never heard of them, they're well worth a read, well worth your time. Do take a look. The Usborne Puzzle Adventures series. Cannot praise them enough. Until next time, as ever, do take care. Bye bye.